Kidmissing TV. Today, we're going to talk about the case of Marb Arvidson. Marb, as he was called, was 17 years old when he went missing from Brattleboro, Vermont on August 27th, 2011. Excuse me, if that day sounds familiar to you, it's because it was the day that Hurricane Irene hit New England. It dumped an unbelievable 17 inches of rain on Vermont that day. And they're very worried he may have gotten injured or killed or something because of the hurricane, because it hit after he left. He left a note saying he was going out with the gremlin horde. That's what he called his group of friends that he hung with, you know. He was last seen leaving his foster home with an unknown male, going who knows where. His note indicated he would be back in 30 minutes. He was supposed to meet his girlfriend at 4 p.m. He didn't show up for that meeting, which was concerning, because you don't usually stand up your girlfriend. Police have interviewed more than 50 people in relationship to this case. His aunt lives in Belchertown, Massachusetts. She is still searching and hoping. His mom is also still searching. His mom lives in New Mexico now. Both would like to speak to Marble's friends from back then themselves. He was an excellent student, although he was considered a special education student. He had colleges lined up, including the University of Vermont. He had been in foster care since 9th grade, and had had only one other home. And he was still close to that foster mother. He would go and visit her several times a week, actually. He was a smoker, and he had been a cutter. That's something very serious, and I know a lot of people think, well, if he was a cutter, he probably killed himself. No, that's not what the aim is for a cutter. Their aim is a relief of pain and pressure, and a release of that. It's not about ending one's life. He was 6'2" and weighed 175 pounds at the time of his disappearance. He had blonde hair and blue eyes, and he wore hats, as you'll notice in the pictures. If you have any information, you can call the Brattleboro Police Department at its tip line 802-251-8188. Anyone that thinks they may have information can also call Detective Evans directly at 802-257-8950. His aunt and his mother have given out their email addresses for anyone with tips. There are 3 email addresses. I can't read it. Jane acefree@gmail.com. That's his mother, Sigrid. And his aunt is kidridgegepl@gmail.com or findmarble@gmail.com. Now, I have a little more local history for you. I said last time when I talked about the Perkins case that I had a case, first true crime case where I actually knew the perpetrator, and that's this case. Walter Gould, on June the 3rd, 1987, at the age of 19, hit his grandmother with a heavy glass decanter and stabbed her multiple times with a knitting needle. I knew this young man. It was his 70-year-old maternal grandmother in Hudson, Massachusetts. He was 20 when he was sentenced. He was sentenced to life in prison. He is still in prison. His lawyer tried to get him convicted of a lesser charge so he'd have a shot at getting out. I knew his father, I knew his stepmother. His father has since passed. Matter of fact, it's kind of sad. Right here, his father, God rest your soul, Ralph, said, whispered, "Goodbye, Walter." His father, Ralph, whispered as court officers led his son out of the courtroom. He got what he deserved, said Assistant Middlesex District Attorney John McAvoy. It was a vicious killing, and it was. And it was scary for all of us who knew him. To think that someone that we knew, someone we were growing up around, could do that. I mean, I was about 2 months away from turning 13. It was scary. In 1992, he actually asked for a new trial, which was denied. I'm not going to go into all of this stuff, but the motion was denied. He said he had ineffective assistance of counsel, and he's right where he should be, in spite of what some people believe. There is no excuse. He not only stabbed her repeatedly with knitting needles, hit her over the head with a glass decanter, he robbed her. And I believe, I want to make sure, oh, he struck her multiple times with the decanter. Dear Lord, he hit her so hard her left eyeball was torn open. And he took a necklace and 2 diamond rings besides the money. I don't see it, but I thought she had been sexually assaulted. That's pretty awful. Anyway, the way that she died. I want to thank you for joining me. Next time, we'll be talking about the case of Jeanette De Palma. Jeanette was murdered, and her case is still unsolved. So please join us next time when we talk about her case. Thank you so much, and God bless.